World class. The phrase sprouted by commentators, pundits and fans of multiple sports, and quite frankly I've had enough of it being used so willy-nilly. It's time for a change, so I, your professor and lecturer, am here to teach you today what the phrase world class should mean. So sit back, relax, and get ready to take everything I say as fact. Enjoy. So some of my lectures will be long, some will be short, and this one will be short and sharp. World class should be a ruthless top 3 in whatever position a player plays in. That's it. It shouldn't be some casual line to throw at any player who's good. No, this shall not stand, and it will not stand. Here at the NGJ Rugby YouTube channel / classroom, we have standards and practices that we must uphold, and so here's how the tiers of players work. And the names myself and you will refer to them. Now, pay attention! At the bottom of the barrel we have the out of their depth tier. Now, the reason we say out of their depth is because number 1, any player who we talk about on this channel is probably way more athletically and skillfully talented than either of us ever will be. 2, referring to a player as shit is beneath us, as we are scholars after all. And thirdly, it's just not a very nice thing to say about someone who's doing their job. Moving swiftly on to the he'll do a job tier. Now the he'll do a job tier is for players who you kind of know the names but you understand that they are, and I cannot stress this enough, at the elite level, not outstanding game breakers. If you're looking for players of reference, think of your second choice fly half at a Premiership club, your Dimitri Katrakilis rather than your Marcus Smith. You get it? Good. And speaking of goodness and Marcus Smith, the next tier up is the good tier. Now the good tier is the tier you probably know the most players in, and due to that it has 3 different sub-levels. Let's use the scale of current centres in the Premiership to illustrate this. Now in terms of good, you have players such as Billy Twelvetrees, solid, clearly one of the best players in the Prem, just not outstanding. Now in terms of very good players, you have your Alex Lazowskis, your Jonathan Josephs of this world, very attractive, easy on the eye, and pretty decent at rugby too. Now finally, in your very, very good, bordering on world class but not yet, you have your Henry Slades, your on-form Manu Tuolangis, your on-form Ben Teos, as well as your aging Brian O'Driscolls. Now remember class, these are all position specific. So, a player like Twelvetrees for Gloucester, despite his obvious talent and the fact that if he played a level down would kill it, plays in a position that has higher standards of skill and pace expected of him, as well as many other things. So he is, despite the fact that he could probably end my career in a single one-on-one, on the good tier. And a player like Ben Moon is also on the good tier, despite the fact that Twelvetrees is probably slightly more agile. Their roles and jobs are different, so their grading is done different. Got it? Good. So getting back on track, let's get on to the thing above the very, very good tier, which is world class tier. Now, like I've already said, a player is world class when they are without a doubt in the top 3 of their position. For example, at fly half. Who are the top 3 fly halves in world rugby? And in no particular order at the moment, it's Beauden Barrett, Johnny Sexton, and then it's a 3-way tie between Owen Farrell, Danny Cipriani, and Finn Russell, please don't make me choose, fighting out for 3rd. So if you're not in that top 3, you're just very, very good, and the system becomes so much easier to understand once you understand what world class is. So if you're Gary Ringrose, you're not in the top 3 in the world, but you're close, so you're very, very good. If you're Jonathan Joseph, you're not pushing for world class, but you're still an outstanding player, so you're very good, and so on and so forth. You get the gist. But always remember, students, the enduring rule of professional rugby. You are only as good as your last season. So people's status can change exponentially across the years. Like at the moment, Lima Sopawanga is just good, but by the end of next season after some rest, he could get to very, very good status. And in the opposite direction of negatives, you have how Quade Cooper was world class, then the year after the World Cup, he was only very good, and then when he went to Toulon, he became good, bordering on he'll do a job. So remember, my young Padawans, world class is a ruthless top 3. Oh, also there's a tier above world class, which is the best in the world. It trumps all positions and tiers, and used to be occupied by the likes of Johnny Sexton and Beauden Barrett, and now belongs to Alex Goode. Bye. Signed, your professor, NGJ.